I want it to be clear that I did not seek spoilers. I tried avoiding them as hard as I could. And I cursed Twitter and the For You tab for realizing I watched Doctor Who, because before the season started airing, there was no Doctor Who on my Twitter. I don't run in those circles. Hey guys, Alex from 7th Hour Films back again with Doctor Who, by the way. So I want to put that out there. I tried. This came out on Friday. Today is Monday. But people couldn't keep their mouths shut, could they? And now I don't blame people. I don't blame people. By the way, I've only been spoiled on like one thing. Just like one. It's not really a minor thing, but just one thing about this episode. I don't know the plot of this episode. I don't know what's going to happen. I just know the one big thing that everyone's talking about. So we'll get to that when we get to that, obviously, in the episode. But, anywho, I don't blame anyone. I don't blame anyone because, look, when the episode comes out, yes, by that point, but I mean, it's like spoiling, Avengers Infinity War or something, or spoiling, I don't know, something big that shouldn't be spoiled, What's a big spoiler recently? I mean, I guess Infinity War or Endgame are kind of the big things recently. Granted, those were like 5 years ago now, but still. But just, keep it in your pants, Doctor Who fans. I don't know. Because, see, first I saw it trending, and I was like, that doesn't mean anything. That doesn't mean anything. It could be speculation for all we know. It doesn't mean anything. So I disregarded that like, whatever. Maybe it's there, maybe it's not. Also, trending on Twitter just doesn't, I swear the little, thing where it's like, oh, trending. It's like, I swear none of those are ever trending. It's just Twitter's trying to cater to me. This is why Twitter sucks. But it's not just Twitter. Because it is YouTube as well. It is YouTube. With people, I mean, it's the same thing as when I was spoiled. So, if you remember correctly, back with, was it Spyfall? Was that what it was called? I think so. The beginning of Series 12, where they have O and the 13th Doctor, his name is O, wasn't it? I don't remember. We all know it. The reveal of the Master in that episode. And I said I was spoiled on that because of the BBC. Well, the BBC didn't spoil this one. No. There was someone who was like, hey, you want to see where this villain came from? It's from this episode. I was like, well, god damn it. I haven't seen this episode yet. Can you keep it in your pants a little bit? Jeez. Just, wait for God's sake. I don't know. But, but at the same time, the episode's out. So that's just that. The episode's out, but... So, I just wanted to tell this to you up front. Yes, I do know the big thing that's in this episode. And that sucks. Now, I could have sat here and pretended I didn't know. And I wish I didn't. Because I think it'd be a great reveal. I'm still curious how it's going to be revealed. I don't know the plot at all about this episode. Which generally happens when I'm spoiled on things. I don't know how things happen, So, So, yeah. But... it would have been so cool. I would have been freaking out. I'm still freaking out because it's ridiculous, but I don't know. Do we even need to recap last episode? It's not even worth it. Should we just move on? The only way we're going to get past this is to dive into this episode. I just wanted to say it up top that yes, I know the thing that's going to happen. It was kind of the same thing when it's always Doctor Who too. It's always Doctor Who that somebody can't keep their friggin' mouth shut, The same thing happened when I was basically spoiled that, David Tennant that Jodie was going to regenerate into David Tennant, which was stupid. It's still stupid. Even if those episodes are good, that was still a dumb whatever. Let's just get, and of course, speaking of spoilers, just right here on Disney Plus, the thumbnail of this episode is the Vlinks, so that's great. And it says the description. I try not to read the descriptions, but they're, whatever. With all of this whining, I suppose, out of the way, let's just jump right into this episode of Doctor Who, and then we'll all have the big reveal in a timely manner. Let's get going. Oh, TARDIS is coming in hot. Unit. Oh, is that Rose? Jeez, man. Can you just materialize? You scratched the floor.
Doctor on the bridge. Give me the loving.
Yeah, Rose. How's your uncle? Don't you know?
Ruby, this is Kate. We love Kate. I knew Kate's dad. He was the best of men.
Yeah.
That is the Vlinks. Greetings. Oh, nice upgrade.
I love his outfit. It's
Colonel Ibrahim. Someone has been working out. That's right.
I love his outfit. It's like Eccleston-esque.
And I'm Morris Gibbons, Unit Scientific Advisor, 13 years old, accelerated genius. Thanks for passing us to it.
13 years old. Nice to meet you, Morris Gibbons. Ruby, this is Morris Gibbons.
Well, that's great. You don't seem annoying like the space baby, so you're good. You're cool, kid.
All of you. A woman appears. Look. So she is a comms officer in the planet.
Alright, we're just gonna go straight for it.
Someone's mum in fine time. She's an ambulance. She's a portrait in 1813, and the list goes on.
Yeah, people told me about that one.
Planet Varsity. She's a Griffin. The fivefold configuration. She's a bleat, so she's everywhere. She must be.
I can't wait for all those audio dramas that I won't listen to.
Susan Triad, IT genius, and today she's releasing
then.
her soft.
TARDIS. The name is TARDIS technology.
Huh.
Well, obviously, thank you.
Even I got that.
That is why we've been watching her. It spells TARDIS, we know that. But why?
She's called Susan.
Is that significant?
Susan is the name of my granddaughter.
Oh. Also, that wasn't just a throwaway line all those episodes ago? We're talking about Susan? Okay. I'm down for that.
Doctor, am I being thicket? How do you not know your own granddaughter? I mean, don't you recognise her?
Did... There are many different things. What do you want to start with?
Probability of a trap, 95% and rising.
Is the start of a better future.
But why would Susan be doing this?
Oh, what do you think, Mel?
Mel?
Got me cheering. Then
Oh, that's Mel.
then done.
That's my mate Mel. Oh, you would love Mel. Bonkers.
Meh.
We got her undercover on the meeting.
She'll make sure you get fit.
And she's discovered one surprising thing. Susan Triad turns out to be really nice.
Well, good.
A real crowd. It's hard to find the right pitch. Thanks, Mel.
I'm hoping Susan isn't evil.
Randy.
A woman that you keep seeing, and a woman that you've never seen. Is it the same woman?
Susan Triad would have been 40, 42, and women who abandon their children tend to be teenagers or early 20s.
But if Susan is Susan, then she's a Time
You've got a
Lord.
time machine. Doctor, can't you just go back and take a look?
No, I can't. I've been to Ruby Road once and I can't cross over my own history. The one night that we need to see, and I have time locked myself out of it.
That's not my
Good
issue.
job.
Okay, well, it's at home, the VHS. My mum's got it. She's got it in a box.
I suggest we take Miss Sunday home.
At once, ma'am. This way.
Oh, thank you.
I'm coming too.
It's like we're on a mission.
Give me proper work.
They're BFFs.
I'm investigating shoplifting in Catford.
Alright, by the way, is Rose tall or is Ruby short? I can't tell. It's fine either way. I'm just curious.
You work for UNIT?
My mother's part of it.
Is she? Well, if your mother's part of it, then Ruby, you can tell her your mother is too. Now go and get Mrs. Flood.
What for?
Go Go and get her! For
That she got a new job.
Anything I can do to help?
Hey, Mrs. Flood.
It's nice for me to get out. I'm always hiding myself away.
What if Mrs. Flood is Susan? Why can't we have Carol Ann Ford? Can I just say that?
I would love a cup of tea. Would you, sweetheart? Well, we'd all like a lot of things that aren't going to happen.
What the fuck?
What that's supposed to mean?
I'd be very careful, Mrs. Sunday. There's a storm coming in.
Oh. Ugh.
He waits no more.
Ugh. Okay. So, God, I have questions.
But he never, ever mentioned a granddaughter.
I was a different doctor back then, Kate.
The original.
Great enigma. Still can't shake it off. I'm trying.
If you've got a granddaughter, that means you've got kids.
Well,
Yeah.
not quite.
Had.
Not yet.
But you mean you can have a granddaughter before a daughter?
Life of a Time Lord.
They will never tell us about the rest of his family.
You've seen my life. I bring disaster. Kate, disaster. What if I go back and ruin her?
You left her in a war-torn world. What else can you do?
Oh, but they've stuck Mum in a room downstairs. They won't let her in.
Ruby, this is a gold security establishment. Even the Prime Minister can't walk into unit.
Especially the Prime Minister.
Yeah, but it's Carla. Come
Carla Sunday. Access granted.
Eh.
Thanks.
This.
Just break our rules, why don't you?
Kate, do you have a time window?
What you expressly told us in the 1970s, unit was absolutely forbidden to experiment with any form of time technology.
Do you have a time
But do you have it?
Temple's done.
Yeah, of course you do. He's judging it.
This is rough.
Yeah.
Wow. You
What a
have
dick.
Lashed this together. Woo.
The most advanced technology the human race has ever produced, and he laughs at it.
We get glimpses, little fleeting moments. We saw the signing of the Declaration of Independence, but all I could tell you was the colour of the quill,
Meh.
which was white.
There we go.
No.
Impossible. I'll tell you what's impossible. Haven't turned it on yet.
Yeah.
Now turn on your machine!
I love these giant levers. Oh god. Whoa. It worked. Wow. To live inside of a VHS.
You gotta keep everything exactly as it was, but she's gonna walk by, look at her face. Look. Look, here she comes.
Ugh.
It's Morris!
What is so different about her?
Wait. Yeah, hello, you went there. You're here. Which means she'll look back, too.
That TARDIS is almost solid.
Yeah.
My memory of this keeps changing. Time keeps changing.
What if they see something? Ah!
Pointing at you, which is also pointing northwest.
What's northwest?
Colonel Chidozi, you will return to your position.
Just see if there's anything there.
Doctor, you said not to move.
I know! But just look.
But we gotta know.
No, sorry.
He's not gonna be there.
What is that?
Oh. That doesn't look like a VHS.
Where are you?
I am in hell.
Oh.
It's been waiting for so long.
Oh. Damn, that glass held. Oh.
Mel? Take me to Susan Triad.
Oh, shit. Alright, time to put some pieces together.
Now stop grizzling and fix it. Because if Susan is your granddaughter, then she might be the key to this. Now come on.
You kind of hope. I mean, if she is, that'll be great, but at the same time...
Can I introduce my friend?
Not right now. We're about to go on. Hello, hi there.
Well...
Doctor.
Ah, nice to meet you, Pet. Doctor Who?
Just
Meh.
Doctor, hello.
Ah, well, top marks for enigmatic.
Yeah. Yeah. Have we met before?
Well, I don't think so.
Are you sure?
Well, if you don't mind my saying, I'd remember a handsome chap like you.
I thought you were...
Okay, so no.
Do you dream about a girl called Lindy?
Ah,
Do you dream about a place called Pacifico Del Rio? Do you dream about being an ambulance?
is she spliced through time? Do you think maybe, because she is human, do you think it's maybe the chameleon arc? If she's Susan. I don't know, I've just got questions until they give answers, man. Thus is television. Ugh. That's genuinely terrifying.
Okay, I've got to stay here. I think Susan Triad is a part of it.
Yeah, but the TARDIS... The TARDIS is groaning. What's wrong with her?
Technology spreads
I love how freaking creepy this is, man.
At arms, with me.
My name is Kate Lethbridge Stewart, Commander-in-Chief of the Unified Intelligence Task
You see, it's the TARDIS.
I demand that you show yourself.
He is hidden in the Howling Void. He's hidden.
She's possessed.
Kate, who is she?
Harriet, you met her.
Yeah, I know, but what is her full name?
Harriet Arbinger.
Oh no.
Harbinger.
Like the maestro.
And who am I?
There is the toy maker of the
Oh.
games. There is Trickster, the god of traps.
Oh, the trickster.
There is Maestro, the god of music. There is Reprobate, the god of spite.
Huh.
There is the Mara, the god of beasts.
Oh, the Mara.
And the
Oh.
has been set.
Oh.
And Seth. And Sithafar. And his one true name forevermore.
Oh. Oh. Sutek.
It was the wrong anagram.
Oh. Well. Oh. Jeez.
Probable trap.
Eh.
100%.
Shoot it.
Get away from her.
Oh.
Sutek is the god of death, and by his hand all creation shall fall into dust and ashes and ruin.
Oh god.
I am Sutek, the god of death.
Did you think I was family, Doctor?
I bring Sutek's gift of death.
From you. And from all your tiny, vile, incessant universe.
Oh boy. Next time on Dragon Ball Z. Oh boy, oh boy. The return of Sutek. You know, it's an interesting choice. It's an interesting choice. Okay, so that is the only thing I knew about this. That is the only thing I knew about this, was that it was the return of Sutek. I have to watch Pyramids of Mars again, or at least our reaction. You know, it's complicated. I feel complicated about the return of Sutekh, if only because, like, I'm imagining... You can probably take a guess, but I'm imagining certain other reactors to Doctor Who have not seen classic Doctor Who and are not going to know who the hell Sutekh is, you know? As are most. Now, the thing is, you know, when I say it's like, you know, there's a lot of modern Doctor Who fans that are just not going to know who the hell Sutekh is. At the same time, the show's done this before, bringing back the Dalek, you know? Even though they do it in a very... Probably the bringing back the Daleks was the best handled of them all, even though they were all handled pretty well. But bringing back the Cybermen, bringing back the Master, even, you know? The first time they brought back the Master, you know? The first time they brought back the Master. If you don't know who the Master is... But then again... Well, no, because see, at least I guess Sutekh may be even more simple, because at the very least, they have set up Sutekh. The Toymaker set him up. Maestro set him up a bit. I do kind of wish, because I saw people speculating earlier this season that He Who Waits would be the Trickster. That would have been cool. I'm glad at least they referenced the Trickster. And now, I do find it interesting that, like, because of how this season is, like, or because of, you know, who they've brought back, it's like, yes, the great, you know, gods. The Toymaker, the god of games. Maestro, the god of music. It's like, okay, well, those are two very interesting, you know, unique types of gods. What's next? It's the god of death. It's pretty cut and dry, it's the god of death. The Egyptian alien god of death, no less, who was defeated by the alien Egyptian Horus thing. I don't know. Go watch Pyramids of Mars. I'm going to have to rewatch Pyramids of Mars just so I remember everything that happened. But making it such a big reveal. But I mean, it's exactly this. It is exactly the same as the Master, you know? And I have to give him that because when we went through season 3, I didn't know who the Master was, and I figured out through that season who the Master was, and then eventually I would go on, and we've obviously watched all of classic Doctor Who, so I know the Master, you know? I know the Master. But you can... Maybe one thing with the Master is the Master kept coming back. Although did he, technically? Because he came back once at the end of Tennant's era, but then he didn't come back until Missy, so... Like, they don't really... I guess that's one thing. It's like, yeah, you're given, you know, who the Master is, but even still, like... I don't know. I'm trying to make sense of it. I'm trying to work with, you know, the great big reveal. The return of Sutekh, you know? A classic Doctor Who villain who appeared in all of one story and was defeated because the Doctor distracted him for literally a second and then he exploded. I did think for a second, I was like, you know, like, would it have been better to have the companion who was in that episode? And then I was like, oh, I guess that was Sarah Jane, and I guess we can't do that anymore. That's sad. I mean, we're going to have to go to next episode, you know, to figure out, like, why, pretty much. Like, why did Sutekh, I guess, create or take control of Susan Triad, you know? S-Triad being an anagram for TARDIS, but Susan, Sue Technologies, Sutekh. Why did he do it like that? Unless, I mean, maybe it's just he did this specifically to get the Doctor. And, you know, I guess we do talk about, you know, like, oh, it's so weird to bring back Sutekh, you know? It's like he's only in one episode or one story. So is the Toymaker, to be fair. Though they did have flashbacks to the Toymaker. They showed the old Toymaker and the original, you know, the first Doctor. I'm kind of surprised they didn't show that, you know? Maybe they'll show it next episode, but I'm kind of surprised they didn't show... I'm kind of surprised they didn't show a flashback to Pyramids of Mars, you know? I don't know. That's crazy, man, bringing back Sutekh. And again, it is just funny that it's like, you know, it's like you have the god of games, the god of music, and then the god of death. It's like pretty big leap. Like, I was kind of enjoying it's like, you know, oh, these great, you know, evil gods or whatever, these malicious gods. I like that they were the gods of weird things, you know? You don't really hear about these kinds of gods too often, but now it's the god of death, the Egyptian god of death, which is an alien, by the way. More than an alien, because the Doctor is an alien. The Vlinx is an alien. Sutekh is a bit more. Now, granted, I didn't think Sutekh was, like, in that episode. Well, I don't know. See, I don't fully remember everything. It's been a while. It's been a little while since we've watched Pyramids of Mars, so... Yeah, Sutekh was on Mars. He was trapped on Mars. That was the thing. Oh, did it? Was that? No, that was the episode though, where he goes. Oh no. Okay, I was wrong. I was forgetting that. Sutekh had control over something, and that was it. The Sutekh had control over something. Yeah, okay. Left with but one option, the Doctor uses the time-space tunnel to reach Sutekh and break his concentration, allowing the explosion to destroy the rocket. His escape now foiled, a furious Sutekh interrogates the Doctor before deciding to turn him into a thrall and transport Scarman to the Pyramids of Mars to destroy the Eye of Horus, which maintains his prison. Yada yada yada, yada yada yada. The Doctor and Sarah return to the Priory and use a module from the TARDIS to extend the terminus of the time tunnel into the far future, resulting in Sutekh dying of old age before reaching the end. However, the portal then overloads and he and Sarah Jane flee into the TARDIS as the Priory is consumed by flames. Right. That was it. Okay, right. He didn't just... It's not that he blew up. It's the thing blew up. That was it. Okay. It's been a while. Again, it's been like a year and a half, maybe 2 years since we watched that episode. We watched a lot of... I don't know how I fit all this information about Doctor Who into my head, you know? Like, I don't have a good memory, and I don't have a good memory, so I don't know how I've done this, but... Okay, so... Even still, like... I don't know, but no, it is the same as the Toymaker. It is the same as the Toymaker, where... that worked out, where they brought back the Toymaker in modern times with flashbacks. Even if you don't know it, you can kind of understand it. So hopefully that works. I mean, it's pretty easy to understand Sutekh. This big old... He looks like, you know, the old... You know, the jackal, you know, of Anubis almost. Even though he's not Anubis, he's based on Set, which is different from Anubis. You know what I mean? It's probably not even a jackal, and I'm just stupid. Anyway, but yeah, so... I mean, there is the question of, you know, what does this... The question, too, is, what does this have to do with Ruby? You know? What does this have to do with Ruby? And it's interesting... Man, and for a second, it was interesting, too, because, you know, when they were floating the idea that Susan Triad is, you know, our Susan Foreman, which was an interesting idea that I was not expecting for this episode. Didn't come true. That's okay. But when they reference, what was it, the kid? What was the kid's name? Morris Gibbons. It was a great name. Morris Gibbons. When Morris says, like, well... You know, you have a missing, you know, you have a woman you don't know, and a woman who keeps showing up, what if they're the same person? And that was an interesting thing, because it's like, just for a second I was like, wait, so if Susan is Ruby's mother, because they talk about like, oh, well, Susan Triad would have been in her 40s, but it's like, but if we're going off the basis that Susan Triad is Susan Foreman regenerated, doesn't matter how old she is. But then I also thought, it's like, that would make Ruby the Doctor's great-granddaughter. And they kind of breeze past that. Now, we're not going there, obviously, because Susan Triad, that was all just a ploy. That was all just a ploy to mess with the Doctor by Sutekh. That's not... I think? That'd still be interesting, but I don't think that's what's happening, I'm pretty positive, 99% positive, that Susan Triad is not Susan Foreman. But it's weird that they just kind of glanced over that, where it's like nobody acknowledged, it's like, that would make Ruby the Doctor's great-granddaughter. Which would have been an interesting twist. I would have gone for that. That would have been a very interesting twist, but nobody seemed to comment on that, and I thought that was odd. I will say maybe one, and this is the most minorest of gripes, but at the end, I get he has to figure out what's going on with Susan, and it's all just bad timing. At the same time, the TARDIS is growling. Something is wrong with the TARDIS. I feel like the Doctor should go back immediately. That's the only thing where it's just like, I get it. Like, it's all tied in, so it doesn't even matter. Like, it wouldn't have changed anything, but at the same time, you probably should go back when the TARDIS is groaning. And that is the, terrifying thing. It's like, because we talk about some of these things where it's like, these great powers and stuff. It's like, all of these great powers that we've seen throughout this show, there is always a comfort that they honestly cannot affect the TARDIS. Like, it's very rare, I feel like, when the TARDIS is actually affected. Like, and because, the most will be, the Master setting up the paradox machine, or the cloister bells will just be going off. But nothing, it's very difficult for the TARDIS to be affected. And, because that's the thing, even Kate says, the TARDIS is indestructible. If it becomes hostile, what are we supposed to do? And that's a good point, but it's like, that's the thing, is there is something terrifying right now, because no, that's how powerful Sutekh is. He is fully immersed within the TARDIS and has full control over it. That's a problem. That is a problem. And what the hell's with Mrs. Flood? Who the fuck is Mrs. Flood? And I kind of wish, we all thought this would be funny too about Susan Twist in this, which, the fact that her name is Susan Twist is ridiculous, but we all thought it'd be hilarious if Susan Twist actually wasn't anything, but then, obviously she is something. I've kind of thought the same thing about Mrs. Flood. I would have loved if Mrs. Flood just wasn't. I love that moment where it's just like, I'd like a cup of tea. And she's like, well, we all want things that aren't going to happen. It's like, I would have loved if she's just kind of a dick. That would have been funny. But no, she's clearly... For some reason, Mrs. Flood seems to be an agent of Sutekh. And that's weird to say. Maybe Mrs. Flood is Susan. Maybe Mrs. Flood is Susan. The only thing, with both, either Mrs. Flood or Susan Triad, with either of them being Susan Foreman regenerated, I do still think it's like, well, but I want a scene with Carol Ann Ford. Because you can still do that. You could bring her back. Maybe this season will end with the Doctor going to her, because he's been thinking about it. If he at the end of the next episode went and found Susan just for one little brief moment. I don't know if I could handle that. Man. And if he says, I told you I would come back. Yes, I would come back. If Shutigawa says that, I'm just gonna start fucking crying. So, I don't need that. So don't do that. But also do it just because that'd be cool. I like that little moment too of, it's like, well, why don't you go see her? And he says, like, everywhere I go brings disaster. I can't do that to her, Now, granted, he has seen Susan since he left her in, 2163? It was 21 or 2263. But after the Dalek invasion of Earth. He did see her once after that, and that was in the Five Doctors when the Fifth Doctor met her again, but still. I love how they imply, too, that he might not actually have had kids. He just has a granddaughter. That's funny. I really like that. I love it is the only thing that Doctor Who will never tell you about is the life of the first Doctor when he was a young man. That's it. They won't tell you his name. They won't tell you his family. The most they'll tell you is, he was friends with the Master before they were the Doctor and the Master. They went to the Academy. But pretty much from the Academy to an unearthly child, we have no idea what the Doctor was like, Like, we get, like, brief moments, the old barn on Gallifrey, meeting the Hermit, meeting the old Hermit, which the Third Doctor talked about, running through the fields on the farm of the Master's father, Like, they'll give little glimpses, just tiny little glimpses of his childhood. But his adult life, and specifically his family, they will never tell you anything. Except that he did have a granddaughter. And that's it. And I love that no showrunner will ever tell you. Even Chris Chibnall, who wanted to tell you that things happened before, that the Doctor is the timeless child, and there were so many regenerations before the first Doctor, he still will not tell you anything about the first Doctor. And it is the funniest thing that Doctor Who chooses to do. What else is there to say about this episode? The time window thing was fun. I love the whole thing of, do you have a time window? The Doctor, you expressly told us in the 70s that we are not allowed to. Do you have it? Yes, it's 10 floors down. B, I love that he goes in, looks around, and laughs. This is the most advanced technology that mankind has ever seen. And he laughs at it. Says, oh my god, this is rough. This is rough. It is the one time, honestly, that he kind of takes a bit of, patriotic pride in the Time Lords, where it's just whenever something with time travel is brought up, he will always look at it and be like, not as good as my time travel, I'll tell you what. So, that is the only point where he wants to flex his Time Lord superiority. And I mean genuinely flex it, sometimes he needs to be the important Time Lord, sure. But I feel like it's the only time when he gets to flex. He gets to flex his own people. And it's hard to do that, because the Time Lords suck. But he gets to flex it, man. That was funny. I like the effect. Well, I was gonna say for an episode called The Legend of Ruby Sunday, it feels like there wasn't a lot of Ruby in it, but I think that's just because we're all going crazy about the whole Sutekh thing. I gotta fucking watch Pyramids of Mars again, man. I don't know if I can. It wasn't the most entertaining episode. I mean, it was fine. It was interesting, but like a lot of classic Doctor Who episodes, could have been one episode shorter. Could have been 3 parts instead of 4. It's still good. It's still interesting, but was that the one I slightly read in the description of that one? That's like, oh, they go throughout, they do these puzzles on Mars. I don't remember that so much. I remember the third Doctor episode that did that. I don't fully remember that one. I'll rewatch our reaction to it. Speaking of which, go watch Pyramids of Mars if you haven't already, and B, go watch our reaction to Pyramids of Mars in preparation for the next episode of Doctor Who. Oh my gosh. They brought back Sutekh, and they did the Fenric thing, too, by the way. Can we just say that it's exactly the same as the whole Fenric thing of, setting up, I created, I basically created Ace so that I would be set free and everything. It's like, Sutekh has done everything, Sutekh has created Ruby's life specifically for this, And the other thing too, this also shows you how powerful he is. He also invaded 73 yards. He also invaded 73 yards because he put Susan Triad in there as well. Not only did he invade all the other stories they were in, he also invaded the weird fairy tale Welsh nightmare thing, Who knows? He could have been the one that did it. We don't know. I don't know. Tune in next time on Dragon Ball Z, and we'll... I do feel bad for the people that don't watch classic Doctor Who. I said it during the Toymaker episode, I'll say it again. Because if you don't know who Sutekh is... It's kind of weird. It's kind of weird. Though granted, I don't know. They don't put as much emphasis on it. Like with the Toymaker, they showed the flashbacks. Like, hey, this was a first Doctor episode. It's like, oh, okay, that's crazy. This one they didn't do that. And again, maybe they'll do it next episode, but they didn't do it. They didn't do it in this episode. But all is that the Doctor knows who Sutekh is. Also, can we just say, before we sign off, I love the creepiness of this episode. This episode was really creepy, And kind of, between this and... What were the other episodes? 73 Yards was also pretty creepy. Dot and Bubble wasn't really creepy. I guess the others aren't really creepy. Boom wasn't really creepy, but there was definitely a darker atmosphere just on the battlefield. I kind of like that. I really like the darker atmosphere, which that's very classic Doctor Who as well, to have that very dark atmosphere, So, I don't know. But yeah, that is pretty much it. With all of that being said, I'm Alex from 7th Hour Films, and I will see you guys next time. Take care. Alright guys, thanks for watching this video. There's a bunch of links on screen if you want to go click around any of those. There's a playlist with all of my Doctor Who reactions, as well as another playlist for all of our classic Doctor Who reactions, so you can go check out Pyramids of Mars. There's also a subscribe button and a Patreon button on screen, as well as other links in the description if you want to go check out any of those. See you guys later.